right, welcome back to the official podcast of Old Glory DC, the Road to Glory podcast with your hosts Bree and Rolly. We are so excited to bring you this segment, which is hands down going to be the best segment of the season. Now, of course, before I welcome in our legendary guest, the Stuart Hogg, I want to do a proper intro. So I apologize, Stuart. I'm sure you've heard this a million times. But Stuart is the current national team captain of Scotland, where he holds 85 caps, 22 tries, and 144 total points. He's a Centurion with the Glasgow Warriors with over 120 caps, and he signed with the Exeter Chiefs in the summer of 2019, where he went on to win a historic double of the European Champions Cup and English Premiership. And of course, he's recently been selected for his third tour with the British and Irish Lions to travel to South Africa this summer. It's obviously not possible to list all of your accolades here, Stuart, but I'm sure we'll talk more about them. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys. Absolutely delighted to be here. When John Manson, aka Pump, asked me to come on the other day, I was more than happy to jump on and see how you guys are getting on. So yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Well, much appreciated, and I know you're obviously you've got a very busy schedule ahead. I know you guys just had a match yesterday versus London Irish. Congrats on that big win. I think it kind of makes sense to first talk about all the events going on. You're heading off to tour soon with the British and Irish Lions, and obviously just finished up Six Nations a little while back. I mean, what's it like to balance your international and your professional duties between all of that going on and also, coming out of the pandemic here?
Geez. It's been pretty hectic, pretty manic. I think it's been the exact same for everybody, hasn't it? It's, this kind of time last year, we didn't know if we were going to finish off our current season that we were playing in. We didn't know if there's going to be any rugby at all. We didn't know where we were at. And then all of a sudden we're back playing, and we've got 2 games a week for I think it's about 10 weeks in a row. So pretty hectic times. We had a very good season as a club. We're progressing well and got some good wins with the national side as well. So yeah, it's been a very enjoyable year. I'm going to have to say that I am starting to get a little bit tired. There's been no break since pretty much this time last year. So it's starting to take its toll on the old man's body. But look, I'm absolutely loving it. Loving my time down here.
That's awesome, man. Wait, Stuart, you're only 28. Cool down with the old man stuff here, will you? Let's go back a little bit though. In 2013, you were the youngest player on a Lions tour, and I'm sure they super glued a teddy bear to your hand or some damn thing as a rookie. But now you're going in on your third tour. You're one of the senior leadership guys there. A lot of people are going to have their eyes glued on you as one of the top stars coming over. How does your role and your responsibilities change this time from the first time you were going?
Oh, look, I think, ahead of that tour in 2013, I was 20-year-old. I was, I had my 21st birthday whilst being on tour, so that was pretty special. But look, I was sitting behind Lee Halfpenny of Wales at the time, who had come off the back of picking up a Grand Slam with Wales. He was player of the Six Nations. And then he had gone on to be player of the series in Australia in 2013. So, look, I was a kid learning a hell of a lot about myself, what it takes to be the best you can possibly be, and I had a great role model in Lee Halfpenny. Fast forward kind of 4 years ahead of the last tour, I felt I was in a very, very good position to play some good rugby. And unfortunately, I got taken away from me because I picked up a bad injury with my eye socket. So that really rocked me for a number of years, and I've been chasing this tour since then, because I feel like I've got like kind of unfinished business, you could say, with the Lions. So I truly believe that this tour now is a chance for me to put my mark on the Lions rugby. And what's difference between now and 8 years ago? Yeah, I'd probably say a hell of a lot more experience than a large majority of the boys. National captain, a hell of a lot of rugby under my belt. But look, I'm going out there to be myself, and I've always been one for talking. I've always been one for being a leader. And only in the last kind of year or so, I've actually been given a role to lead a team. So, yeah, I've had to do a lot of growing up, and look, by no means the finished article. I still believe that you've got a lot to learn on and improve on, and that's what kind of excites me. And I'm going out to South Africa in a month or so's time to get better and to be a part of a winning side.
Well, I just want to add something there. I know that one of our Old Glory DC players, Threaten Palamo, his wife is actually Anne Marie, who's going to be one of the physios on the British and Irish Lions tour. So make sure you say hi to her, and you have that little connection there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about South Africa. Would love to hear what you think of the Springbok attack, and especially their kicking game, and maybe kind of reflect on your position at 15, and maybe tell us what you think kind of are some aspects of your own game at 15 that you think are going to be most important.
Look, I'm absolutely bricking it. I think anytime you come up against a South African side, you know you're going to get absolutely battered. You know you're going to wake up on the next game morning and feel like you've been hit by a bus. So,
black and blue.
Oh mate, you're telling me. You're telling me. I think now I've played against South Africa a few times for Scotland, but like they're the current world champions. They're an unbelievable side, both individually and collectively, and they've got a game plan that they have had for years upon years, as long as I can remember. But it's one that works. And as a back three player, it's absolutely hellish because you know you're going to be catching high balls all day long. And it's one thing being able to catch it, with the pressure coming on. It's another thing when you land to try and avoid these big hits that are coming your way. So,
Khaleesi coming to take your head off.
Oh, mate, you're telling me. I think any time a high ball goes up, you're like, oh shit, just land in my hand and just let me get away, because if not, I will be in a world of pain. But look, I love playing against the best side in world rugby, because you're going to be in for one hell of a ding dong battle, and it's going to have to bring the best out in you, or it could be slightly embarrassing. So. Now, look, I absolutely love it. I always like challenging myself against the best, because to be the best, you have to beat the best, and that's something that really, really excites me.
Wow,
100%.
That's amazing. So you spend most of your time these days just grinding in the English Premiership with Exeter, and you've been doing wonderful there. Do you guys in the locker room or day to day, you guys ever talk about MLR or what's going on over here?
We have done recently, mate. If I'm being brutally honest, I think in the last year or so, I've kept a kind of close eye on what's been happening across there, because there's a fair amount of Scottish boys that are across there at the minute. Glenn Bryce. You guys have got Cully Gibbons, who I played with at Glasgow. Great character. And you've got Pump Manson, one of the best team managers I've ever come across. I know he's not paid me to say that, I promise you.
Good disclaimer there.
Yeah. But now, look, I think it's a tournament that is really, really starting to make people watch. And honestly, the power of social media is incredible. Obviously, keeping a close eye on the boys that I've played with or know, and it just looks like a different world across there. It looks absolutely tremendous. The guys look like they're having so much fun. So yeah, if you want an old 31, 32-year-old in a few years' time, give me a shout.
Oh, wait now a second. We may have another question for you in a minute.
Rolly, you might as well ask that question right now.
Well, the question was, Stuart, you've conquered Europe. You fancy conquering North America with Old Glory, and that signed every single Old Glory fan.
Mate, I can't. See, the problem nowadays, if I say yes, right? If I say yes, it'll be everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
No, we'll just tiptoe around it. We'll just tiptoe around it for now.
So what we'll say is, look, we never know. If the old man's body can keep going for another few years, then look, I'm always one for challenging myself in different environments. But I just have to persuade my wife and kids to come across with me. So it's not as easy a decision as it used to be.
Yeah.
Very true. But you can talk to Pump about this. We take care of the family very well over here.
my wife's got a soft spot for Pump, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
There you go.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
I think that's the best answer we probably could have imagined here. But one last kind of a long question for you, Stuart. I mean, you just talked about your family. I mean, how do you balance, this is rugby is your whole life, it's your job. How do you balance all of your international and domestic duties? How do you balance just having a normal life and seeing your family and friends?
Yeah, look, I think one of the biggest things I've learned over time is that all the different sacrifices you made when you were younger to get to where you want to be is absolutely tremendous. My parents were driving me here, there, and everywhere, all over Scotland. They've done the same with my brother 5 years prior. But now as you get older, you start to appreciate everything a lot more than say you used to be. I've had a lot of time, especially over the last year, to kind of reflect on what I've done and what I can potentially do moving forward. I think now, I've got 3 young kids, a wife, 2 dogs, 2 horses. It's pretty hectic in the Hogg household. But I actually believe that it makes you a better rugby player because it takes your mind off of rugby. I used to come in after training when it was just Jill and I. Sometimes, you've had a great day at training and all's well, but sometimes, you've had a tricky day, you're not in the best of moods, and you come home and you bring rugby with you and you live it 24/7. Where since having the kids and a lot more added kind of responsibility that I love, you come in the front door and all's forgotten. You've got to, almost leave rugby at the door, and you've got my wife and kids to look after, to make sure I'm doing everything I possibly can for them, because the good old saying of happy wife, happy life, it makes my wife just literally walked in the kitchen at that moment in time. But yeah, no, look, I actually think it makes you a better rugby player because you don't think about rugby constantly. Obviously, you're very professional in your approach to your nutrition, your everything like that. But in terms of your mindset, I find it really, really easy to switch off from rugby nowadays and concentrate on my family. And I truly believe it's made me a better rugby player as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine sounds like you've really got a good balance over there, and I'm sure that's taken some time, but that's something that I think everyone can definitely learn from.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, Stuart, now we're going to switch into the more fun questions. So, of course, this first one we have to ask. Tell us your family appropriate, of course. Tell us your best stories about Pump and Cully.
Oh, Pump and Cully. Oh God. The problem you just said is family short.
Yeah.
We know. What has Pump got some nicknames? Has he given himself his own nickname yet at all?
Not just yet. I think
so. We had a few for him at Glasgow. We used to call him Cue Ball, for his big old bonce, his bald bonce. And yeah, I think that one of the easy. Oh no, I can't say that. I just had to think back there.
We got him, Bree.
The filter's there.
I actually don't know. No, look, I think in all seriousness, you guys have got 2 absolute tremendous blokes to be involved in Old Glory. I think Pump, he made my life really, really easy. He made me just get on with everything and be able to perform. On the flip side of that, I made his life hell.
As you should.
You'll obviously see Pump's desk or whatever. He's very, OCD and likes to have things nice and neat. Well, I'd probably say on a daily basis, I used to go up to his desk and just muddle everything around. And I used to have this unbelievable chart that used to tell you exactly when each training day was and which game was happening, this, that, and other, all color coordinated.
Yeah.
And every time I'd just go up and miss it, and I would just get a message on my phone with a few swear words, and he wasn't best pleased. But other than that, family show. I can't unfortunately be telling you.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's quite all right. That is quite all right. I got a question over here from, I believe, probably a Scotland fan. It says that now that John Barkley has retired, who's taking over the reins of scaring the hell out of you in the Scotland camp?
That honestly, I said that when Barks retired after the World Cup in 2019. I said I can actually look forward to going into Scotland camp now and not worry about what's literally happening
not
around
be
the
so
corner.
on edge.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was a compilation video made up of all the different times he managed to scare me.
Yes.
And yes. I actually got a row off my mum because my mum had obviously seen the video, and she was like, "You were not brought up to have language like that was coming out of your mouth." So I was like, "Mum, I'm really, really sorry." But nah, like I'm very, very happy that I don't see backs as much as I used to. But you know, the problem with that is that I used to get backs a fair bit, but I would never film it because I couldn't. You know, I didn't have any time to get my camera set up. Whereas he's, you know, a very intelligent guy. He gets everything. You know, he's a step ahead. But look, I think everybody likes to try and have a little bit of banter in and around camp and keep each other on the toes. But I do miss him for many things, but his scare cam isn't one of them.
Love it. Name one non-Scottish player you're looking forward to hanging with on tour.
Non-Scottish. I think I could just say my Exeter Chiefs.
No Sam Simmons, you bugger.
No, look, I think I've been I've toured with a few of the guys as well, so it'd be good to catch up with them. But look, there's a huge amount of different characters that are going on this tour, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know everybody. I think rugby is very, very unique in the fact that we get to mingle with other nations and become one. And I've no doubt over a few quiet beers and a few noisy beers we'll bond really quite well.
No doubt. Speaking of boys that you could bond with very well, Duan van der Merwe, and what kind of a lab was that man created?
Oh my God. Well, I remember playing against him for Glasgow and Edinburgh. And obviously the way that we used to defend, I used to have to try and mark him off set piece. God love you. Mate, it's like night and day, mate, the difference between him and I. So I used to hit him with everything that I've got. I used to go 10 yards back. I was like, how would you get this guy down? But nah, he's been absolutely tremendous for us. I think he's came in, got, I think he'll be kicking on 10 caps or so now with a good handful worth of tries. So he's been quality. He's been absolute quality. And one of the best things about Big Dewey is the fact he doesn't take himself too serious. I mean, he works really, really hard during the week. But he's one of the first to have a beer in his hand after the game, which I absolutely love. For me, it's probably one of the best parts of rugby is the bonds you create off the field, and the social side of it. But mate, I don't know what his parents fed him when he was a kid, mate, but he is a monster.
Big boy.
Now, switching gears a little bit, if you weren't playing rugby, what other professional sport or career would you be pursuing?
Oh, that's something that actually scares me because the end is near, isn't it? So,
well, if you hadn't become an international player,
and we're talking about after your Old Glory retirement, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. I've said it a few times, but I used to ride out in a racing yard, horses, when I was a kid, and I'd had numerous horses growing up. So there's a massive difference between riding out horses on a Saturday and Sunday morning to then actually being able to ride in a race. So I'd say a jockey, but I think that career would be cut very, very short. There's a severe lack of ability there.
You might also be choosing the one sport where they may even be tougher than rugby players. Those boys are made out of absolute granite, and busted to bits, and they keep going. Unbelievable.
I've got a few of my mates from back home are jockeys, and there's no other way to describe them other than lunatics. They're absolute lunatics.
Properly.
They're absolutely tiny. They're wafer thin. They weigh absolutely nothing. I think they've got a screw loose in the head, those guys. But fair play to them.
All right. Stuart, when you before a game, pre-game ritual, do you have a cheat meal or anything like that? Do you have to get something into you before every game? What is it?
That's something that I kind of had to try and go away from. I got to a stage that I was really quite OCD, and like 2 days prior to a game, I had to have X, Y, and Z. And then I went away to an away trip once, and I couldn't get those things. And I had one of the best games of rugby I've ever had. So that philosophy went clean out the window.
Yeah,
it went clean out the window. I think it was actually Pump's fault that I didn't get it as well.
We'll look into it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nah. I think the only kind of thing I do is I try and run out last every time we run out the tunnel. It's just something that I've done for a long time. And it's actually just become a habit. But I love it. I love going out last. I love seeing all the boys run out in front of me and thinking you're going to battle with your best mates. It's a feeling that will be very, very hard to beat.
Nice. Going back to different players, what player would you least like to see running down your channel in space?
Mate, see, the thing is, right, you've got all these big Safa boys, right?
Yeah.
Right? You've got all these big Safa boys, right? And a lot of them, I'd say about 90% of them have the ability to run over the top of you and make you look very, very silly. But there's one guy called Cheslin Colby.
Yes.
I knew it.
That can make you look really, really silly. And I think as soon as he gets the ball anywhere near me, I'm just going to look for my players and say, "Where the bloody hell are you guys?"
Yeah.
I think I'll just shout "your man," and hopefully somebody else will tackle him.
There you go. He's made a career of making boys look silly. So I mean, he's a good one.
Terrific.
Yeah,
terrific at it.
He really is. So we're obviously, I'm sure you boys are up there still pandemic, everything going on over in the UK as well. But when things do start getting back to normal over there, do you have a trip in mind to take the missus away to?
Did you catch all of that, Stuart?
No, broke up a little bit.
Rolly, you broke up. Can you repeat that?
So do you have, after the pandemic, do you think there's a place that you'd like to travel with the missus that might be on your bucket list?
I think for us, we moved down to the southwest October 2019, and we've not managed to see a large majority of where we actually live at this moment. And a couple hours further south, we've got Cornwall, which a large majority of the boys that play at the club actually come from down there. So they tell me it's the best part of the UK. So I'd love to travel down there, but like I don't think there's anywhere that's not on the bucket list, is there? I'm a big fan of traveling the world, and I've been very, very fortunate to do it with rugby for the last kind of 10 years or so. But like I'd love to travel as far as I possibly can, and no doubt one day I'll be in America.
There you go.
Love it.
Love it. All right. Two questions in this. Who's the most interesting man on the Scotland team? And then who's the funniest?
Oh, geez. The funniest. Look, there's a few good characters within the team, but the funniest. You put me on the spot here, guys.
It's what we do.
There's a few, mate. Yeah, you're good at it. The funniest, I think the younger generation that are coming through. They're a bit different, aren't they? They're a bit different. So you've got like the Blair Kinghorn and Adam Hastings that have this chat that only they know what they're talking about. It's like a different language. So we call them Team Weird. So they're quite funny. There's a guy, Dave Cherry, or hooker. He just got capped against England in the Six Nations there. Very, very intelligent bloke and very, very funny with it as well. He's we give him stick for being a private school boy for using all these posh words that us commoners I've never heard of before. But look, I think like everywhere, there's characters all over the place, and the best thing about the boys is they kind of all bounce off each other, and the crack and the camaraderie is second to none. So again, that's where rugby is very, very unique. But who's the funniest? I'll probably say Dave Cherry, actually.
There you go.
There you
All
go.
right.
Some brains and the funnies along with it.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Stuart. You've come almost to the end of your interview, but with all of our interviews, we end off with one final question. And this is it. You are stranded on a desert island with 3 other teammates. Who's accompanying you to survive?
I think I will take Xander Fagerson.
Why?
Because he is a very, very large bloke, and the 3 of us could eat him for a long time.
See, that's smart. That's smart.
That's thinking outside the box, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd probably take. Is this just Scotland team, mate?
Whoever you want. Yeah.
I'd probably take a guy called Duncan Taylor, who plays at Saracens, the Scotland centre. He has the best singing voice and unbelievable on the guitar. Like, honestly, I could sit and listen to him all day. He's absolutely tremendous. And even when he forgets his pluck, because he actually makes his fingers bleed, he plays that much and that hard. So, and he's a very, very funny bloke. So I'd take him.
All right.
And we're definitely stranded. There's
100%.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it's either are you trying to survive, or is it the last 3 guys that you want to be with before?
Well, I was gonna take Finn Russell, because he'd be able to buy us anything to get out of there. Like, mate, I think he's like £1 behind the Beatles nowadays. But mate,
oh my God,
does that count? Does that count?
Yeah.
You want to throw Finn Russell on there just because? That's grand with me.
Yeah, 100%. Because if there was a way to get out, he'd be able to afford it and sort us all out. Xander, because we can get there for a good couple of weeks eating him.
Yeah.
And Duncan Taylor for entertainment. So
there you go. You got the bases
covered.
But that'd be quite good crack. Look forward to that.
That's awesome. I love that. Oh man. Well, Stuart, those are all of our questions. Real quick though, the Old Glory boys are headed down to Houston, Texas this weekend for it's round 10 for the weekend, and they just came off a hot win. Do you have any words or any messages you want to share with them before we sign off?
Yeah, I played in Houston, Texas twice, and it was.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
Unfortunately, fortunately we won down there, and second time we managed to unfortunately get beaten by a very, very good American side on the day. But one of the toughest games I've ever had to play in terms of the weather, the conditions. It was hot and humid, but look, I think for you guys, I'm a big fan of what that league is starting to produce. And it'll be absolutely awesome to see the Old Glory boys go down there and get a win. I think, after speaking to Pump and definitely the fact that Cully's out there now as well, I think you guys are building something, really, really special. So keep that going. And the biggest thing that I've said, especially over the last year or so, is just to be yourself. Be yourself, because that'll bring the best out of yourself as an individual, and also as a team. And I know that you guys will continue to climb the ranks. So I wish you all the very, very best.
Awesome.
Well, Stuart, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. We owe you one, man. We hope we see you over here. First pint will be on myself. And, best of luck on the Lions tour. And we'll be rooting for you 100%. All behind the Lions, the whole group. And, I always thought I'd be just cheering for the Irish boys, but I find myself cheering for a lot of the Scottish lads now as well. So.
Look at you. Good job, Roy. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks so much, Stuart, and best of luck upcoming tour.
Cheers, guys. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.